Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, the tourism chief is in hot water after controversial ad placements.
The contract was between PTV4 and DOT. Wala na po akong pakialam kung ilalagay nila sa kapatid ko.
Malacanang vows to investigate.
The palace will investigate the matter. We cannot, of course, we have to accept the findings of the COA and this.
But her legal counsel reveals a move by Bitag Media to end the controversy.
Na para matapos na lang ang usapan na sila ay may ginawang mali dito ay ibinabalik na po.
Is it a closed case or an admission of guilt? Secretary Juan Teo's legal counsel, Attorney Ferdie Topacio, joins us live. And later, YouTube video creators gather for their annual Fan Fest. We get to know what makes a video viral and an online superstar. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb, a block timer owned by Tourism Secretary Juan Teo's brothers on government television network PTV4. Will return the 60 million peso ad placements from the tourism department. That's according to Teo's lawyer, Ferdie Topacio. He says Bitag producer Ben Tulfo met with his family and decided to return the money to put an end to the controversy. COA earlier revealed Teo's department placed 60 million pesos worth of advertising budget to PTV4, which in turn put these in Kilos Pronto, the show of her brothers Ben and Erwin Tulfo. COA said the transaction lacked supporting documents. How is Secretary Teo handling these controversies? Let's go straight to the source of the story. Attorney Ferdie Topacio, attorney.
Yes.
Welcome to the show again, sir.
Yes, it's always a pleasure, Pinky. As you know, I always tweet this every day. Pinky Webb is heart.
Thank you. Attorney, has Secretary Teo tendered her resignation?
Well, in response to that, there is no call for her to resign from the president. They met last night, and according to her, it was cordial. But the final decision, of course, will be up to her. She's now studying her options very carefully, especially after the announcement that she asked me to make yesterday.
So let's look at this picture. This was Monday night, sir, in Malacanang. The Philippine Star is saying that the president asked for a one-on-one meeting with Secretary Teo and asked her to tender her resignation. True or not true?
Well, I wasn't there, but she said there was no such demand from the president.
The president didn't ask her to resign?
No, there was no such demand. According to her, the president just said that, study your options carefully in view of the things that have transpired, or words to that effect.
Did she voluntarily say, Mr. President, should I tender my resignation?
No, she did not.
She didn't also offer that option?
No, because, her conscience is clear, and in light of the developments yesterday, she believes that she has shown her good faith and lack of malice in this case.
You know, people are talking about such photos, sir, because the last time a photo like this came out during a Monday night meeting, also in Malacanang, was with Secretary Vit Aguirre. It seemed like all was well. And then after Secretary Vit Aguirre, tendered his resignation. Could this be the same scenario here, sir?
Well, we shall see in the next few days whether history will repeat itself.
What do you call it, sir?
I'm sorry?
What did you call this, the handshake?
The handshake of death. Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed, but whatever happens will happen.
Yeah. So, will she resign? Can you tell me the truth, sir? Is she thinking about resigning?
She has not told me that, it is also one of the options, of course. I would not be telling you the truth if I would deny that. But so far, she has not told me anything about resigning in a concrete manner.
If she were to resign and it was put in paper, would you have to compose that for her?
Well, it depends if she asks me to, because I'm just a lawyer. Ultimately, the decision is all hers to make. It's a matter between her and her conscience.
Okay, so she doesn't think that she should resign?
I really do not know. She thinks that if she should resign, it would not be because she thinks she has done wrong, but probably to spare her family and, of course, more importantly, the president, any more pain with respect to this issue.
Because of this issue. Now let's talk about. But before we leave that, one last question about that. Was there a one-on-one meeting, according to Secretary Teo, with the President?
Well, it wasn't a one-on-one meeting, strictly speaking, according to her. There were other people present to give their opinion on the issues.
Like who?
Well, I'm not at liberty to say. I'm sorry.
All right, let's talk about the issue. I know you're a lawyer. Obviously, you know how much you can tell me, and I know napiga ko na ho kayo dyan. So let's talk about the issue, sir. So BITAG wants or has returned the 60 million pesos?
Well,
sir?
it has signified its intention to return. I was in the middle of a rally in front of the Supreme Court when Mr. Ben Tulfo called me up and said that after much soul-searching and meditation, he has decided to return the 60 million, although he said that it's not as if the 60 million is just lying there, waiting to be returned. It has already been spent for production, etc. And he emphasizes that the requirements under the contract have been fully complied with. The ads have been aired, etc. But just to write fini to the issue and to show their good faith and their lack of malice, then they are returning the money.
So it's not an admission of guilt?
It is not, because well, you know, when you return something, it's not restitution. It's an act of goodwill. It's a class act. Just to, you know, quash all rumors of the Tulfos having benefited from the fact that Secretary Teo is the head of the Department of Tourism, and all of these unsavory rumors that have been floating around. It's more of the fact that the name of the Tulfo family cannot be equated with any amount of money.
Okay, but you said that it's not as if the brothers, the Tulfo brothers, benefited from Secretary Wanda Teo, but they did, sir. They did benefit.
Well, the fact that the...
when you get 60 million pesos in ads, sir, even if I was the sister, I benefited from that.
Well, in a manner of speaking, perhaps, but they wish to emphasize that according to PTV4 sources, the consideration of placing the ads in the Kilos Pronto program is not because it was hosted by the Tulfos or it was produced by Ben Tulfo, but because it is to gain the most media mileage from the ads, because
it's a top rater.
Yes, definitely.
Which makes sense. Doon mo naman talaga lalagay yung ads doon sa top rater ng PTV4, which is that Kilos Pronto show.
Yes, although I must admit, Ma'am Pinky, that I've told them the optics do not look really good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the COA was asking for supporting documents. It has no supporting documents such as the MOA between BITAG and PTV, certificate of performance, the duly approved budget utilization request, and billing statement dealing with deliverables. Where are these, sir? Do we know where these are?
Well, that I must again put to the fore the fact that DOT under Secretary Teo is not the one under investigation. COA is demanding certain documents from PTV4, People's Television Network, Inc. And there is no privity as between BITAG and DOT with respect to the ad placements.
Yeah, so that's clear, because maybe some are confused that it's DOT that's being investigated.
No, it is not.
It's PTV. Pero lumabas po that DOT placed 60 million pesos in ads, and then those some of those ads actually, well, 100 million? Is it 100?
It's 120 placed all throughout the programming of PTV4, not just Kilos Pronto.
In fact, it was supposed to be more, pero medyo nababa to 120
yes,
something.
at tumawad pa nga, it was supposed to be 220 million, more than 220 million. But lumabas yung pagkakuripot ni Secretary Wanda, tinawaran ng 120 million.
So, here's the thing, sir. Secretary Teo did not know that the money, or 60 million, or part of that money was going to go to her brother's show, sir?
Honestly, she did not, because if she did, then she would have vetoed it from the beginning.
She would have.
Yes, because it would be so obvious and brazen, and I don't think Secretary Wanda would be so brazen as to insist on something that would definitely, come back and bite her in the butt, so to speak.
But if that is true, sir, when she had a press conference, why didn't she say it very clearly back then that somebody, kasi you were saying that there's an internal investigation ongoing. In fact, on radio, I think on DZMM, you said, sir, that somebody's at fault here. Somebody
There was someone, yes, who did not do his or her job with respect to this contract.
Yeah, but in the contract, sir, nandun po nakasulat that 60 million will go to BTAG. And then you have the signature of Secretary Teo there.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
We do not deny that. And we also, in fact, we were the ones who supplied media with the letter of PT before saying that it would be placed with Kilos Pronto.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what are you saying, sir? Secretary Teo signed that not knowing that 60 million was going to go to BTAG?
Well, she did not know how much would go to, well, it did not say BTAG actually. It said Kilos Pronto. And honestly,
Kilos Pronto,
yeah,
sorry.
And honestly, she told me that she did not know that Kilos Pronto was hosted or produced by any of her brothers. Otherwise, she would have squelched it immediately.
Hindi niya talaga alam that that was Ben and Erwin.
Yes, that's why she was as surprised as anyone when she saw that there was this big brouhaha over the issue.
But she knows Erwin is with PTV4.
Yes, as a talent, because Erwin also hosts a news broadcast.
Yes, that's right. All right, we'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. When we return, is there a need for a Senate investigation into issues hounding Secretary Wanda Teo? And an annual gathering of YouTube stars is back in Manila. We'll talk about the YouTube Fan Fest later in the program. So we're still... Hindi niya alam na yun yung show ni Erwin.
So, you know,
But didn't she want to ask? I mean, pera yun ng DOT na, baka pumunta yan sa kapatid ko, baka sabihin nila, conflict of interest or unethical.
I will have to await the result of the investigation. I'm not involved because I'm not in any way connected with DOT.
Okay, so let's talk about the sir, if it's ethical and appropriate.
Which one?
If it's ethical and appropriate, Lacson says because it's an issue of ethics and yeah, it's lame. He says that Secretary Teo says she was unaware that it was going to go to her brother's show. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Tourism Secretary Wanda Teo's legal counsel, Attorney Ferdie Topacio. So, Sir, Senator Ping Lacson was saying that it's lame for Secretary Wanda Teo to say that she didn't know where the money went. In fact, it's a question, I think he went on to say, of ethics and if it's not appropriate, sabi niya. How would you respond as her defense counsel on this?
Well, Senator Lacson is, of course, entitled to his own opinion, but he should also factor in that how many times has anyone ever offered to return anything to the government? And this is one of those few rare instances, I believe.
Sir, can they easily return the 60 million pesos? And if so, if Secretary Wanda Teo does resign, isasoli pa po ba nila Ben Tulfo yung 60 million pesos?
Definitely, that is the commitment on the part of Ben Tulfo. This does not anymore go to whether Secretary Teo stays or not.
Okay.
This goes to doing what they think is the right thing, and this goes into the value that the Tulfo family places on their name, which is Tulfo.
So tuloy ang balik.
Definitely.
Kailan daw, sir?
Well, I have yet to talk to the state auditors. Actually, I instructed my staff already to get in touch with them because honestly, I do not know how these things go about. This is the first time I've had someone tell me to help them return something to the government. It's usually to help them get something from government.
Who will they return it to?
Well,
who do you think? Kanino ba dapat?
Let me consult COA because these are DOT funds actually. I don't know if they're going to return it to the DOT or if that is again going to raise eyebrows, then maybe just return it to the general fund, the National Treasury.
Yes. Pwede rin doon. But is it easy to come up with 60 million pesos?
No, it is not, actually. That's why I said that this gesture on the part of Mr. Ben Tulfo is a class act. Because it is not as if the money is there. The money is no longer there. The undertakings under the contract with PTV4 have been complied with, which is the airing of ads. Nonetheless, just to put closure to the issue that they have benefited from government funds, they are willing to return.
So you talked about an internal investigation. Is the Secretary saying that this was maliciously done or hindi naman po?
No naman. What the investigation seeks to uncover is who was remiss in his or her duty of informing her that excuse me, Secretary, this is hosted by your brothers. And I asked PT before, and this is produced by BTAG, which is owned by Ben Tulfo. So, you know, a secretary has so many things to do. Just so many things on her plate that she only looks at the larger picture.
So there's
The
no malice.
minutiae.
You're not looking at malice here.
No, we're
Na
looking
may
at
sinadya.
fault or negligence or lack of foresight because, you know, the secretary only, she's not concerned with minutiae. She has her subordinates for that.
But there's still the issue of command responsibility here.
Definitely.
So even if there was somebody negligent.
Yes, we are not shirking from that responsibility, as in fact, we were transparent and we furnished media with copies of all, just to show that PTB4 was the one who initiated this whole contract.
Sir, when did you last speak to Secretary Juan de Teo?
I think around 5:30 this morning.
This morning?
Yes.
And still no resignation, you're telling us? Or you don't, between us girls, sabi mo nga. Do you not want to tell us or ano ho ba?
Well, secret.
So, posibleng in the offing nga yan. Alright. Attorney Ferdie Topacio, sir, maraming salamat. Baka po mangyari yung resignation within the day kung ganyan ang sagot ninyo.
Well, we shall soon find out, won't we?
Keep your phone handy, sir. We might call you back again later on after the show. Maraming salamat kay Attorney Ferdie Topacio. Sir, always a pleasure.
Thank you so
Maraming
much.
salamat
God
po sa
bless
inyo.
you.
Thank you, sir. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. What can we expect from the upcoming YouTube Fan Fest? Find out after the break.
Doon siya sa doon siya sa tabi ni Pinky.
I will give you a heads
Tay lang to.
Thank you.
Do you think it's possible for us to get some water as well?
Water.
Yeah.
Chris and Amro.
Joey, hurry.
Nice to meet you.
Chris.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I've met these nice people earlier. Come have a picture with me. We will need some beauty.
Oh, these are hot.
Thank you. Attorney, thank you.
Of course.
Always.
Thank you for having us.
Oh my God, you're super welcome. I was excited about this.
Good. We are
You're too
too.
short, Andrew.
I'm only 5'6", but thanks for coming around.
So I'm 5'6" too, yes?
Am I good?
Is this good?
Sige.
No, I think we're gonna get a glass of water.
Ask
Be
the
a bit
questions
closer.
for it.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Rans and Yana.
Yes.
If you can do it. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. A community of YouTubers and online video creators will gather in the annual YouTube Fan Fest, and organizers say expect the event to be bigger, better, and more Filipino talents to take over. The Filipino YouTube community has grown historically, with some local talents having millions of subscribers on their channel, like them. But what makes a YouTube content viral? What makes an online superstar? Let's go straight to the sources of the story. YouTube's creator and artist development lead for Southeast Asia, Chris Clap White.
Correct. Well, very good.
Clap
That's the
White
first time.
and talent manager Amron. Is it Lopez?
Lopez.
Si Lopez. Kapag medyo galing sa abroad, Lopez. Welcome to the show,
Thank you.
both
Thank
of
you.
you.
Thank you for having us.
The Fan Fest is what? On its 4th year?
4th year, yes.
Tell us more about it.
It's the 4th year. It's bigger and better, as you already
Yeah.
said. We're looking at bringing over 8,000 fans this year. 8,000 very loud fans. And I think what's really cool to mention is that it's the first time that we're having more local talent than we have international talent.
How
So-
many local talents will
So
there
we
be?
now have around 10. So we have
10 out of the 14, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah, 10 out of the 14.
Are there only 14 talents?
well, not in the Philippines, but that are performing in the main show on Friday.
So there are 10.
Yes.
All right, and but it's on, when is the event? When exactly is
Friday,
the event? It's
it's YouTube Fan Fest is a big event. The main show on Friday night, and then we have a festival throughout the day to highlight more emerging talents.
Interesting, yeah. And Amron here, I wanted to ask you, what makes somebody, a YouTuber, special? How do you spot a star? Because if I'm not mistaken, you're the talent manager of Rance and Yana?
Yes, I'm the talent manager and I'm based in Los Angeles, California. I think specifically, there's no specific formula to say like what makes someone really famous or someone viral on YouTube. I think what's important that really is a key thing is, you know, you're very authentic. You have a very specific purpose in when you're creating content. You have a story to tell, and you're very true to who you are. And you're very honest in what you put out there. And I think that's what makes like a very honest and good content creator on YouTube.
So what made Rance and Yana such stars? What was it?
I think it's because of the fact that not only are they YouTube creators, but they're multi-hyphenates. They're more than just the sum of their content. You know, they're siblings, and like brothers and sister relationship is something that's very
huge,
universal.
Yeah.
It's not just here in the Philippines. It's a theme or it's a relationship that's universal that a lot of people can connect with. And I think that's what makes them really special. And the fact that having met them in person and really, really get to know them, I just appreciate the fact that, you know, they're very sincere, they're very honest about their relationship.
They're just so
with
cute,
who
right?
they are.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch them, Yana, she's just a darling.
Yeah, she's a little firecracker. She has like a lot of charisma around her.
Does she?
Yeah.
How are they like when they're not on screen?
When they're not on screen, they're just like your typical siblings. They, you know, they fight, but it's like healthy, good fight, and they play pranks on each other. And you know, the best thing about Rance is that he really takes the time to nurture and teach Niana like how to dance, and I think that's what really bonds them.
But Niana was a very shy girl, right? And this was her way of exposing herself, getting out of that box, and here she is. If you can do it, right?
Yeah, and and the best thing about YouTube is that it's a platform that really allowed diversity on, you know, diversity on in the entertainment industry, because now you have people uploading content and sharing their stories of who they are, what they go through, that allows them to connect with their fans.
Chris, it must be, you know, very crazy for someone to even begin a piece and upload it, right? I mean, you can think of something so simple to something so complicated, edited so well, and yet if there is probably no authenticity and no power, it might not work, right?
No, I think, I mean, you said it so well. It's all about the authenticity. If you go to a party and someone tells you a story and you know that story is not credible, you're not going to listen.
Is that something you guys spot immediately, that it doesn't seem real, doesn't seem authentic?
I think you can have an estimate guess, but I think the audience in the end is the one that is really giving the verdict here. And I think you see that probably more so than I do, that as soon as something doesn't just feel right, then they tell them. And that's, I think, the great thing. It's a two-dimensional communication stream, so that you'll see it back in the comments, you'll see it back
it's
on
the
other
talent
social media.
and it's the audience.
Definitely.
What do you suggest to people who want to, you know, maybe start a piece, upload it? Does it have to be such a full production? Amron?
No, not really. I think in general, like, you know, everyone's a natural storyteller. The most important thing to remember is, you know, have a story, know what you're trying to say, and what message you're trying to get across on your content. Because when you know your purpose and you know your, like, the messaging you want to say across your content, people will appreciate that, and you gain this sense of confidence of that you never felt before, that you get to communicate to the people who's watching your content.
When you see a video, do you know instantaneously that this will go viral?
I think it's hard to. We've talked a bit about this. Is there a silver bullet approach? Is there
a magic?
Is there a magic formula? I think you touch upon something very powerful, which is one of the ingredients of that formula for a viral video, which is being relatable. So if you know that this is a topic that is relevant for the time in which it happens and it's relatable to a lot of people, then there's a high likelihood that video will go quicker than videos that are not relatable for people.
And the magical thing that people don't really quite often understand with like content creators on YouTube is that they have this special language that they communicate across their audience. One client A might, has a specific thing when it comes to beauty, and she knows how to talk about that to her audience. Whereas like Ranciniana, they have a universal messaging in their content that's relatable to everyone. So there's no specific formula. It's just a matter of like, figuring out what things are happening in entertainment, what are like
being abreast.
Trends. There's a big difference between being trendy and being on trend, because being trendy is following the trends that are happening there. Being on trend is like you're taking what's happening there in the entertainment industry and sort of just like making it into your own and adding your special formula to it to make it really special and relatable to people.
Like one of the videos we were showing was that of Michelle D, if I'm not mistaken, and I know I watched her videos a couple of times. She does makeup, and one thing that caught me was gandang pulbo and lip tint. I think that was her, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that's something that even I hope it's her caught my attention as well, because for the most part, you don't really have a lot of time, but you kind of want to look a little bit more presentable, and that's what she showed. Again, I'm hoping that it is Michelle B. Yes, I was correct. Let's watch a sample video.
Just wanna rollie with a dapper ranch. I already got some designer to hold on my pants. I just want some ice on my wrist so I look better when I dance. Have you looking at it, put you in a trance. I just wanna rollie with a Percocet.
Adorable.
Who's the little one?
That's their little sister Natalia. She has an Instagram and a following as well, and she's following the footsteps of her brother and sister.
How old is she?
I'm not quite sure. I think 2 to 3
2
years
or
old.
3, right?
Yeah.
All right, Chris, I just want to know, why are there more local Filipino talents now?
Because this ecosystem is just growing very quickly. I mean, if you look back to last year, I think when we were last year here for FanFest, we had about 70 channels that hit the 100,000 subscriber threshold, and now we have 230. So it almost went 3x. We went from 7 to 15 channels above 1 million subscribers. So we doubled that. So I think there's a lot of movement here in the Philippines, which is
all right. So very good. Good to hear. And Chris, would you like to invite our viewers, all those watching us right now?
However, I think we sold out all the tickets. But we have a live stream, so people can dial into the live stream if they still want to see what's happening.
Amron, tips, just last minute tips.
I mean, depends on what kind of tips you're looking for.
Just the general tips.
If you're going to create content, make sure it's true to who you are, you're honest, and you have a story to tell and a theme, because that's the most important thing, because everyone loves someone who's very authentic and honest and relatable.
Thank you to Chris White and talent manager Amron Lopez. Thank you both and good luck. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.